Have you ever felt lost, overwhelmed, or like your voice doesn't matter? What if I told you you have the power to rise no matter where you are in life? Today on Magnetic Women Talk Show, we are honored to welcome Pearl Meshaw, mother of three, master women empowerment coach, and a podcast host, whose journey will inspire you to reclaim your confidence. From feeling silenced and burnout to discovering her purpose and helping women all over the world step into their power, Pearl's story is a proof that it's never too late to rise. So get ready to laugh, cry, ignite that fire inside you, because this conversation will change the way you see yourself, your life, and your potential. So, Pearl, welcome to the Magnetic Women Talk Show. You have been inspiring women all over the world. How are you feeling stepping into the conversation today?
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me. I'm honored and I'm excited, and I feel like I'm just excited. I feel like when us as women get together, we can really make a difference. And so this is another platform to do what we love to do most.
Yes, totally. So before becoming the Pearl we see today, who were you? Who were you, and what was the life like then before? I want to know.
I guess just to give you a little bit of my background, I am Persian, and so I was born in Iran, and around when I was 5 years old, when the revolution was beginning, we decided that it was best for us to leave Iran and start our life somewhere else, which is it was a scary experience, just leaving everyone. I still remember the day of the airport, saying goodbye to relatives, not knowing if I'm ever going to see them again. And I think it's like a lot of that, like being Persian and then growing up in America and trying to mesh the two cultures, because I still wanted to, my parents were very strict and they wanted to keep us with the Persian roots, and I still wanted to fit in. So a lot of that was very confusing for me, and I would see a lot of patriarchy, obviously, and I knew that I wanted things to be different for myself and for my own kids. So I feel like those things really helped build my resilience and trying to figure out where I belonged, who was Pearl, and just kind of learning and growing to become the best version of myself that I know, instead of trying so hard to fit in, to be Persian, to be American. There's a time I lived in Canada, like I was like, or to be Canadian. So it was just like trying to figure out who I was. And at the end, I realized that I just need to stick to who I am inside and just take the best of each thing that I'm learning and observing and growing into becoming, the best version of myself that I want to be. I feel like realistically, as anyone else that knows, it's really hard when you try to be someone that you're not. And so throughout my life, I feel like I was not really living within my own self. And as I got older, especially, in midlife, really embrace the real person, the real Pearl that I'm supposed to be, because not really caring anymore about what society or what everyone else expects, but just trying to be the person that's going to make me happy in the best way possible. I don't know if that really answered your question, but
It did. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So was there a turning point or a breakdown or a breakthrough moment that made you say that, no, I have to rise and I want to help other people rise, other women rise as well? Was there any moment like that?
Definitely. So I remember I had my 40th birthday party and I was so excited. I did everything. And after my party, I just felt really tired all the time, and the tiredness wouldn't go away. I felt kind of down. And I think it was like one of those moments, because initially I had been working, and then I used to be a teacher. I did the corporate world and teaching, and then I stopped because I wanted to be at home. I have three kids. I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And I loved being at home. I became like their teacher. I would do everything. It was like my classroom was my house, and I wanted to give 100% to my kids. But as the kids got older, I remember feeling very fearful because my identity was no longer like about me being me or being Pearl. I was the mom, I was the wife. And I just knew each stage as they were getting older, I was getting scared about who am I? And so I feel like there's a lot of women that go through this stage and it's not really talked about because for me personally, I wanted something more, something for me. Like I knew I had a calling, but at that point I didn't. So my body was giving me all these messages because I started getting all this chronic pain, fatigue, inflammation. I would go to the doctors and they're like, oh, you have depression, oh, you have fibromyalgia, you have some autoimmune. And it was just like this, but by myself, like I just knew that I need to kind of discover what's going on myself. And I'm so glad I did that. Instead of going and turning into, medication and all of that, I was like, no, I'm going to just figure this out myself. So this self journey really helped me kind of wake up. That was my turning point because when I started kind of checking in with myself, I realized I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know my hobbies. I didn't know my interests. Everything about my life was about my family. And I really throughout life had lost that person that I had been before I had kids, which happens a lot, because you're just giving and you're loving and, they are number one as they should be, but finding the balance is the biggest problem I think I had. I didn't have a proper balance. And this led me into a lot of meditation, back into my like hot yoga classes, self-healing books. And then I decided to go into coaching because I wanted to heal myself. And so once I did that, I realized, okay, like this is where my calling is. I knew I had a calling, I knew I had a purpose. And so now it's time for me to share that with others because I know a lot of people go through, and it doesn't always have to be midlife. But I think there's a lot of guilt associated with when you want to do more, because for me, I felt like if I express like, well, I want to do something else, everyone would be like, oh, you have such a good life. You live in a nice house. You have 3 healthy kids. Like, you're so ungrateful, you're blessed. And so then I felt very shameful about it. So I would just be like, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to be, just a silent. And that's kind of one of the things in our culture. I see it, or a lot of women in different cultures where they kind of silence their passion, their voice in order to make everyone else happy. And that's what I was doing.
Wow. Oh, that's so wonderful. No, definitely I can relate to it. That now that I'm starting, some days my family support, but some days they ask like, you have everything. Like, even if you don't do, I was like, okay, stop there. This is where I want to discover myself, and it's very important. Unless and until I discover myself, I won't be able to give to all of you, So my cup has to be filled so much that start pouring out and start giving out to the world, and it starts with the family for sure. So yeah, so
for sure, I still feel like people, like I have family that are kind of like, why are you doing this? Like, why? And it's like, are you bored? I'm like, no, I have to do something with my life, and I feel like this is my why.
Yes, yeah, totally. So what inspired you to step into women empowerment work?
So I think it was realistically, one, because of my own journey. Two, I think because being Persian, and I see how so much, I mean, still to this day, it's unfortunate in Iran, the women are so silenced and they don't have the right rights. And this became like a passion of mine where I feel so privileged to be able to have a voice, be able to do things that I want to do, have a husband that supports me and he's not in that, in that mind frame that I need to listen to what he says and fall. So doing all of that, I'm like, okay, if I'm if I'm so lucky enough to have this type of platform, then I need to be able to give back and help others. And and this is not just Iran, like we've talked about. It's like there's so much
Oh,
inequality going on in
yeah.
all parts of the world, and it breaks my heart because we are in 2025. Like, how can this still be happening in this day and age? And I have two daughters, so I need to be a role model. I want to teach them that they need to speak up, to rise and be their own individual person, because no one else is going to do it for them if they don't do it for themselves.
Yes, and there are so many qualities in terms of it's in so subtle level. We don't even realize that women at home, we see them that they are actually enjoying the luxury and the life they are living, but deep inside they have that desire to, grow by themselves, become an individual personality, but they do not have that support or they do not have that path. So, yeah, yeah, truly, it's in all over the world, definitely.
And I think, the other thing, I think a lot of well, women are scared to talk about it because it's that association with guilt and being shameful that I'm blessed and I have everything. That's not my role, is to do this. And we just, it's that society that's just made that blueprint for us that we're supposed to be nurturers and take care of everyone, whether it's our parents, our children, our husband. And the moment we want to take care of ourselves, it's like, oh, she's so selfish, and it's just not
Yes.
regarded. And so it's like changing that mindset for everybody, changing that narrative. It's difficult to do because that's not what, even in this year, in this new generation, it's not like the thing that people actually follow through. And they you can really tell, like for me, I feel like I can't tell you the number of events that I've been to, and I'm talking to just a lady that I just met, and I'm telling them about what I'm doing, and whether their children have just grown up and it's just her and her husband or whatever, you can see that emptiness in the eyes where they're
Yeah.
pretending, and like that everything is fine, but
Yeah.
it's not. And I that's why I want to have these platforms where it's okay to talk about it, like share and tell us, because we're all in the same boat and we can
Yeah.
help each other.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yes. So, when you first started, what was your biggest fear that you had to face within yourself?
I think I think there's always that imposter syndrome because I'm like, well, do I have all the answers? Do I know what exactly I'm doing? I have bad days. I'm not perfect. But I think, and again, perfectionism, because I have been brought up that way and that has been a part. So everything that I do, just trying to retrain myself and say, I can only do what I can do. And I can't, even if I help one person out there, then that's it. Like for me, it's just trying to retrain my mind from just thinking about the journey and the process and not worrying about the outcome in the end. And because sometimes I think we get so into this whole thing, like, okay, like if it's about the salary or about, the ratings, or is my podcast going to be like #1 rating, or how many downloads do I have, or how many clients do I have, or how much money I'm making each month. So it's like really just enjoying the process and just kind of following where it's taking me, and
Mm.
growing. I feel like since I've started this in the last 3 years, I have become a completely different person. I'm much more relaxed. I'm applying all the things that I've learned to myself. I'm really trying to have a positive mindset, live in the moment, and just have a lot of self-love and self-compassion, and really honor myself, which I didn't know. I was not taught to do that. I didn't see it, growing up, because that's not what we do, right? We
Yes.
have to give up everything to be that best mom, to be the
Yeah.
best wife. And so just trying to change my mindset that it's okay. Like I shouldn't feel so guilty if I do this. That's been kind of hard, and challenging, but I think there's always so much. The more difficult things can be, that's when you really grow. If I wasn't scared then I wouldn't be growing. And with each thing that
Yes.
I'm trying, the very first episode that I did or the first client I had, you're terrified. I mean, you really are. But each time you just become better and you feel that, you're just getting more resilient and growing in the process.
Yes. So I understand that you actually overcome your fear through living in a moment and then honoring yourself. So this is a very big takeaway for anyone. And with your talk, I can definitely see your mindset that you respect and honor yourself so much, and that has become your inner voice now. That every time any kind of fear might have come, the fear is a part of life, everybody knows.
Of course.
But then this inner voice that you honor yourself every time, that okay, I have to grow, this is nothing. And this definitely can be a life-changing part for any of the women who is watching right now. So thank you for sharing that. Yes.
Of course, and learning to listen to that inner voice, because
Yes.
I feel like a part of the reason when I was sharing with you how I had all that chronic pain, that pain was my body kind of screaming to me and saying like, you need to take care of you. And
Yes.
a lot of the times we don't listen to that voice. We just ignore it, or we don't even give ourselves that moment of silence to go
Silence.
for a quiet walk, to reflect, to journal, and just say like, am I happy? Like, is this where I imagine myself? Like, what would if I had a magic wand, where would I be? It's like having those deep conversations. And that's what I try to do a lot with my clients. It's really just help them figure out their foundation, their values, their desires, because so many of us just forget, even if you're in a corporate world and you're working full time, you're making great money, but there's not a moment and you're providing for your family, but you haven't had a second to check in and say like, am I really happy? There's so much of that I see too. I had one client telling me that she hated her job, but she was so used to the lifestyle that it was
Mhm.
very difficult for her to make that transition to fear of, well, how am I going to afford this? And I like going to nice restaurants and nice trips. And so a lot of people are stuck in that situation too, where they want to be living in the moment and living a fulfilled life, but they just don't know how to do it. And just my biggest advice to someone who's watching this right now would be to really do self-reflection. I feel like self-reflection has helped me so much, because now I've learned, like you're saying, to really listen within and understand, why am I feeling, I'm not feeling very in alignment. What's going on? Like really having a conversation with yourself like you would with a friend. Have
Mhm.
those conversations with yourself. Like, I'm off. Why am I off? Like, what happened? Did something trigger me? Or am I happy? And just doing that on a regular basis and checking in to see if you're happy, or how you could think, change things and make things better for you. And do that all the time. Like, I still do it. Like, every few months, if I feel like, okay, wait, I'm working too many hours, I feel a little tired, am I getting burned out? I sit there, I'm like, okay, what could I be doing differently? Okay, I have to set more boundaries. I have to be more efficient. Just doing that on a regular basis can really change your life.
Wow. So, women, self reflection and setting boundaries. Remember this.
Yeah.
So, so now you wear so many hats. You're a coach, you're a podcast host, you're a writer, you're a mother. So, which of these roles feel most alive for you right now, and why?
I think definitely mother. I wouldn't change anything. And, my family is priority, and I want to just, especially as they're getting older, every moment is so precious to me. So that's a role that I just cherish with all my heart. And if I had to do everything, all over again, I would do it the same way. I really enjoyed being at home with them, and that's not for everybody, but for me, it worked out. And now I feel like, the whole female fluence, work that I have, from the podcast to the coaching, all of these things are fueling me, because I feel like every time I witness a woman changing or stepping up, it reminds me of why I do what I do in the first place. And that courage is what inspires me. Since I know how hard it is to rise after like not feeling seen, because so many of us either don't see ourselves or
Yes.
at all when we look in the mirror. That's another thing. Another advice is really look in the mirror. Stop looking at the wrinkles.
Yeah.
Stop looking at the gray hair or whatever, like all that. Look at yourself and actually say like, I'm beautiful and I feel good. And look in your eyes, look in your soul, and really check in while you're doing those reflections. See yourself for the first time. And not being seen by other people, because as we age too, because aging is labeled as, oh, now she's irrelevant, she's not sexy, she's not pretty, she's in midlife, she's in menopause, she's old. And
Mm.
just changing that mindset for yourself, I think that really helps. I want to, the more I amplify the voices of other women, that's like my fuel that keeps me going. I'm like, okay, it's just, I see one review or one like email sent out to me thanking me for something, then it's like, okay, I'm doing what I need to do, and that's where I'm getting my energy from.
Wow, that's powerful. So if you, for example, if you could sit with your younger self right now in the hardest moment, so what truth would you give it to her? Like, what one advice would you give it to her right now?
To my younger self,
To your younger self in her hardest moment?
I think realistically, especially for myself, when I think I took things so hard and I was a perfectionist and I wasn't living in the moment. It took, I would get anxiety and I had to be the best student. My room had to be like perfectly tidy and all of those things, which now when I think back, I'm like, just like, like life goes by so fast, so fast. So I always say this, like, don't take life for granted. I mean, if I had a conversation with myself, I would say, don't take life for granted. Live in the moment. Like, you'll never be 17, you'll never be 18. Like,
Right.
enjoy it. Don't take things so hard, because everything will work out. It just does, right? So it's like, instead of just worrying about it, and now that's one thing, I feel like I've changed a lot, is I really try to like enjoy the moment. If I'm on vacation, if I'm eating dinner with my family, I'm not thinking about all the things I have to do. I'm here, I'm right now. That's all that matters.
If I think sometime that if I were like 13 years old and I want to say something like during that struggle time, what would I say? And this is the perfect thing I would say. So definitely, yeah.
Because you notice, I mean, another thing I was going to tell you, just to add on to it, is that if you think about it, if you think about like your future self, like on the reverse, let's say you're the 90-year-old woman who's like, at that age, you have all those aches and pains and you're barely able to walk and you've lost your spouse or lost a lot of your friends, your neighbors, you're the only one. It's like, that's another way I think too now. I'm like, what would that 90-year-old, like now when we sit here and say, oh, we're old, like, what that 90-year-old would do anything right now to be my age, right? I'm 48.
Yes.
So it's like, so then it's like, what would I want to do? If she had a magic wand and wanted to reverse time and become 48 again, like she'd be so grateful to have people around her, to be able to move, to walk, to exercise, to eat properly. So when you think about that, then you realize like life goes by really, really quickly. And you don't want to, you want to make sure when you get to that point that you've done all the things that you've wanted to do in life. And when you visualize it that way, it's a wake-up call that, that 90-year-old would do anything to be the 50-year-old, the 60-year-old even.
Yeah, for sure. So you often guide women to live authentically. But for you, what does the authenticity feel like in everyday life?
Being true to yourself, really being true, which means having an environment that's positive, being around people that are going to give you good energy. And, again, like we talked about, listening within your own voice, claiming up your space, setting up your boundaries, saying yes to yourself, even if it's like a little thing, making yourself self-honoring and saying yes, like, I'm going to, even though it's going to be hard, I'm going to go to that class. I'm going to sign up for this event. I'm going to say no to this other dinner that I don't really want to go to, but I'm being pressured into going. Being able to recognize those yes and no's and not feeling bad about it and just honoring yourself. Living in the present moment, really just taking that time and having quiet time. Quiet time is so important. We live in such a busy world with emails and our cell phones next to us, always the notifications coming in. There's not a moment for us to think. So really make that time, whether if it's for you, if it's in the car driving, just silence. You don't need to make all those phone calls. Listen, meditate. I just, those things have just made such a difference for me, where I feel like I'm really living in the moment. I'm being authentic. I'm being truth to myself and recognizing what my needs are and what's really important to me. Like one of the things that, I always do is really make my clients do a value list, really figure out. And so many of them don't know what their values are. And journaling is so important to look in and realize what's really true to yourself. I have, if anyone is interested, I can share that with you, but I have like a mini, because I do a female fluence framework for my coaching, but I have like a mini one and a meditation that I can share the link for your
That would be
listeners.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just to
for
get
sure.
an idea of what they want to do, and if they want more, then they can reach me. But to
Yes.
just see the steps of changing and following your authentic self.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
Yeah. What do you say to women who feel their time has passed and it's too late now, and they cannot rise now? What would you say to them?
I would say that it's not too late, that's for sure. The timing is all about you. I think a lot of us are waiting for permission, right? I feel like I was waiting for someone to say, okay, Pearl, now it's your turn. Now it's your time to do something. That time will never come. No one is going to come and tell you like, it's your time to rest. It's your time to sleep. It's your time to step up and achieve your dreams. You have to do it for yourself. So you have to stop waiting. And it's not too late. You can look around you. We have all different ages of women writing a book, becoming a singer, establishing a business. I mean, it's one of those things, especially in this new generation, that the 50-year-old, the 60-year-old, the 70-year-old, age is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's really your mindset. So you can decide if you want to feel like that it's too late and you're done. That's up to you. But the whole thing is that the perfect timing for everyone is, if you're waiting for everyone else to be okay, it's not going to happen. It's always going to be a rough time. I remember when I was trying to start my whole journey, it was difficult. It was either like we were moving, there was construction, then my dad got diagnosed with cancer. It was just one thing after another. And and then before that was COVID. And it's like, I wanted to start so much earlier. And there was a moment I remember like telling my husband, like, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe this is signs. These are signs telling me that I should just forget these dreams. It's just not gonna work. I have 3 kids. I'm too busy. Everyone needs me. And I remember he was like, you can't think like that. Like, it's never going to be the right time. It's going to be difficult. So if you have a dream, if you have some calling that you can feel within your heart and in your soul, you can't just sit around and say, well, I'm going to wait until the kids are at a right age. I'm going to wait until my mom is okay. It's never going to happen. And before you know it, that moment has gone by. So you have to grab it, because life is not easy. It's difficult. And you're going to have, all the highs and lows, and it just keeps on going. And so waiting for that perfect moment is going to be the time. The perfect moment is when you actually give yourself that permission to start your journey, and you choose yourself first. That's going to be, and start with one small yes. It doesn't have to be huge. You can start with what feels true for yourself. Start with your boundaries. You maybe take a class, start meditating, do things for you without feeling guilty. And then just a single act of self-honoring becomes a doorway to build a whole new version for yourself. And it's not too late.
Not too late. Perfect. Yeah. So now you have 3 kids and then you have a very big mission. How do you keep yourself going throughout the day?
It's difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is difficult because I like to do everything. I want to cook the meals. I want to be there for the kids and just be there for everybody. It's challenging, but I really have to be like, I have to set a schedule. And I have to be set on it where these are the days that I'm working, these are the times that I'm working. And so my kids have to respect my schedule. And then the same thing with my clients and my guests, they have to respect my schedule for my family. So that was a hard transition to figure it out. But once you set it up, and it's like, at the end of the day, you realize this is your own business. So you have the freedom to, change your schedule here and there to make it all work. That's the beauty of it. So that took me a while to realize, because before it was like, okay, this is crazy. Like the whole reason I'm trying to do this so I could also be a mom too and pursue my passion, but now I'm getting a little burnt out. But just finding that happy medium, it's a challenge, but with practice, you realize, okay, this needs to go, that doesn't work out. I need to be strict. If I say I'm going to stop working at 5 p.m., I need to actually stop working and just shut down the computer, and that's it. Whatever didn't get done, it can get done tomorrow. That's hard to do because I'm sure you have that too, but you are the boss. So you have to set those limitations for yourself.
Yeah. So setting the boundaries helped you to balance with the world. That's great.
For sure.
So one last message for all our audience, not specifically women, but everybody, based on what my analytics says, that women, even men are interested in watching our podcast and talk show. So why don't you give message to everyone, how they can start, whatever message you have.
Okay. I would say that you need to realize that I think you have to check in with your life and see what legacy you want to leave behind. What is the biggest legacy that you want people to think about when they think about you? And every challenge, everything in life is going to help shape you into something bigger. So you can't let those things bring you down and say, this is it. This is my moment that I'm not supposed to do this. You have to take these challenges that come through with you, and you have to move forward with them to build resilience and grit. And at the end of the day, I feel like for me, the biggest thing is that I want to leave a legacy of, proof that reinvention of yourself is always possible, that you can't just give up on yourself. And whether you have to see yourself as the best version of yourself that you want to see. So I feel like with my kids, my clients, my listeners, I really try to push them that you can reinvent yourself, you can become the person you want to do, and it's meant for everybody. There's nothing special about me or you, right? It's like we just decided, okay, we want to do something with our life and it's going to be different, and we want to have this legacy that we're leaving for whoever, our listeners, our watchers, our children, and we want to just help make an impact, because that's what we want to do, the way to honor ourselves. So when you realize that that's all you have to do, that's what's important to you, that's the main foundation of your life, just you follow the journey. So don't get so worked up about, because a lot of times people say like, oh wait, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what my why is. If you listen within and you just kind of take little steps and you follow through, it all kind of just comes by itself. I believe in manifestation too. So it's like, just really go with the flow, just think about it, but don't get so obsessed in, this is how it needs to be. Don't worry about the outcome, like I was saying earlier, so much. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the journey, and then you'll see and realize what legacy you will leave behind at the end.
Wow. Whoa, thank you so much, Pearl. That was so inspiring, not for everybody else, but it was inspiring for me too. So with that, we come to the section of magnetic women. So what I'm going to do, Pearl, here, that I'm going to throw some quick questions your way, your first thought, and no overthinking. Okay?
Okay.
So let's get ready with it. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
One word your kids would use to describe you.
Oh my gosh. Organized.
Organized. Okay.
Yeah.
A book that left a deep mark on your life.
For agreement.
Okay. A podcast episode of Female Fluence you would love every woman to start with.
I think, gosh, there's so many episodes I'm trying to think. I think there's one, it's called about balanced life. It's at the very, very beginning. It's a Dr. Sohee Yun. And it's again talking about trying to figure out as a woman how to balance work and motherhood, and that there's no such thing as the word balance, but balance in the season of life, which I carry that with me.
Okay, remember this, audience. One daily ritual that keeps you grounded.
My gratitude journal. I've been doing that every single day. I wake up first thing, no phone, you guys. Don't check the phone when you wake up in the morning. It drives me crazy when people do this, but don't check the phone. And I had to train myself. I open up my journal. It's in my nightstand. I write 5 things that I'm grateful for from the night before, like from the day before. And that's how I kind of start my day. Like, okay, like I'm so grateful for like this happened, that happened. My daughter gave me a big hug. It's like written in there. It's very cute, small things. It doesn't have to be huge. But that's the number one way I start my day. And I've been doing that for at least 5-6 years.
Just out of curiosity, do you do at the end of the day as well, or just in the morning?
I just do it in the morning. The reason I switched it up is because at nighttime, either I felt like my schedule wasn't always the same. Like you go out sometimes, you fall asleep downstairs, I'm too sleepy. So I was like, first thing in the morning is something I can stick to. And versus like if I'm really sleepy and I'm, kind of pressuring myself to come up with something and I can't think about it, or, or even a glass of wine or something. I don't know. So, yeah.
Okay. So if you had to choose between coaching, podcasting, or writing, which lights you up the most?
Ooh, that's difficult. I love writing. I think probably podcasting right now, because I feel like I can reach a lot more women at the same time versus the one-on-one. But I do hope that in the future I can even do like more classes and group things, group coaching, so I can have more clients at the same time that I can reach. But I think podcasting, because it's just been, the people that I'm interviewing has been life-changing for me. I have a huge networking platform that I love. I've learned so much from different people, reading their books and learning their expertise. So I think I would probably say podcasting, but I love all 3. So
Okay. A song that always shifts your mood instantly.
ooh, these are difficult.
We
Oh
want
my
to know
goodness.
about you, Pearl.
Yes, I love music. I can't think exactly. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I have different playlists. Shoot, hold on, let me think. I think what's the one with the I can buy my own flowers? Who's the singer for that? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a woman empowerment song. I think it's with that. Oh my gosh. Now it's like a game show. But I'm sure people will know what I'm talking about. But that one is a song that I always feel like really like strong, and I'm like, yeah, I can do anything for myself. Like, I love that independence, powerful song to get me going.
So just after this talk show, I'm going to hear that.
Yeah.
So what's one dream still on your vision board?
So I actually have two. One, I'm trying to think. I want to do more speaking engagements. So I'm looking into like more keynote speaking and stuff, and also writing a book. So I'm currently I'm finishing up a picture book with my daughter. It's finished, but we're just working on the illustrations. So I'm hoping that will come out before the year is out, which I'm really excited about. But then after that, I want to do a book for myself, like a more self-healing book about my journey, and maybe about everything that I've learned throughout coaching and all my guests. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Okay. And one word for Magnetic Women Talk Show.
I think resilience, just you never giving up, and just growing from whatever that comes your way. I think that will be a great tool for you, being a resilient woman.
Wow.
Pearl, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing your story, your courage, and your wisdom with all of us. Your journey reminds us that no matter where we are in life, it's never too late to rise, to rediscover ourselves, and step fully into our own power. And to everyone watching, remember this: your voice matters, your dream matters, and you deserve to honor yourself every single day. Take that first small step, set your boundaries, and listen to your inner voice. Because when you do, you're not just changing your life, but you are inspiring everyone around you. So join us next time on Magnetic Women Talk Show, where we continue to share stories that uplift, empower, and remind us all of the resilience and the magic within every woman. So stay inspired, stay courageous, and always keep rising.